I'm Michelle. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Adbot. And essentially, Adbot uses AI and machine learning, all these fancy words that everybody is throwing around these days, to make online advertising easy, effective, and affordable for all businesses across the globe, because we want to make sure that there is kind of like equal competition within that advertising space. What specific data problem was Adbot facing, and why was it significant for us? So we found from our customers that not a lot of them, after they sign up, actually log into their accounts to see their information or their data. So they couldn't really see the value that our product was offering them. So they couldn't see that we got lots of traffic to their sites because they weren't logging into their profiles. So what we really wanted to do, and knowing that within behavior change, we need to show value to our customers within the first 7 days. And if they're not logging in, we obviously have a problem, and we needed to make sure that they get that information, that they see the value, and that they come back again. So what we were trying to solve there is to, number one, pull out information and deliver it to our customers rather than waiting for them to come to us. And then secondly, tell them and give them a prediction of what they can expect from next week or the next month. So yeah, give them, number one, the information that our product is sending a lot of traffic to their site, but also give them a prediction of what they can expect from our product in the future. So very much related to behavior change on our platform, and obviously increasing our retention in the process. Right. So how was our experience setting up and running the competition with Zindi? We have no background on data. Our team is quite green, so we haven't got any analysts or data people on our team. So we're very, very green when it comes to that. When we started building out data models, or when we started looking at this problem and wanting data to solve the problem, it becomes very overwhelming very quickly. And I found that when we approached Zindi through the competition, they made it really, really easy to understand what was required of ourselves to solve this problem using data. And they took over all the responsibility of setting up our data sets and putting all the information together. So we weren't required to do any of that, which is really, really helpful, because our team didn't really understand what the requirements would have been. What was really amazing about Zindi as well is they spent some time with us working through not just what it is that we wanted to solve, but they helped us kind of like formulate the scope, which I think is important as well, because we had a very limited need because of our limited knowledge, and they kind of like expanded to say, but you can also include XYZ and make it a little bit bigger, and therefore you can solve the problem in this way. So from that perspective, it was really amazing working with them. The support and the resources provided is incredible. As I mentioned earlier, our team is not experienced in data, and that feeling of being overwhelmed, we almost kind of like had a sense that data is a little bit inaccessible, or solving problems with data is a little bit inaccessible for smaller businesses like ourselves. And I think what was really interesting is that through the resources that Zindi provided, we found that it is actually very accessible. And there's multiple different ways that the team at Zindi do that. So what was really interesting is that now that we've gone through the process, we understand a little bit more about models and data models and all sorts. And when we look back at the competition and the solutions that were provided, we received almost 90 hours worth of modeling from various sources. So that's basically 90 different types of models, which is quite interesting because it makes you think a little bit broader about how this problem could be solved. the solution that emerged as the winner was quite an interesting one. And if we just had one data scientist working on it, we'd never probably get to this solution. And that was, instead of looking at a collective, the model looked at predicting each one of the clients separately, which sounds a little bit counterintuitive from a effectiveness perspective or a efficient perspective, but it was the model that was the most accurate. And I think if we just had one data scientist, paid lots of money for that data scientist, we wouldn't be able to get so much feedback on how to build something that's actually unique and very accurate. So that for us was really interesting to go through that process. And how did it address our initial data problem? So obviously, the problem that we wanted to solve was retention. We believe that if you show our customer value within the first 7 days of sign up, the chance of them staying with us longer is going to increase. And what we want to do to show them value is, number one, show them how much traffic we are sending to their site, but number two, tell them how much they can expect in the next week. So, of course, by predicting, you have to be quite accurate. And if we had gotten that model wrong, it would have been quite problematic, because we would build mistrust, right, into the process. So this model of using each individual user to predict rather than a collective to predict made it exceptionally accurate, which is why it addressed our problem really, really, really well. And again, like I said, if we had just used our money, paid one data scientist, we wouldn't have been able to see all the variety of different models out there. So yeah, it's amazing the volume of thinking we got back. So what has been the impact of implementing the solution on Adbot? So on Adbot, the impact is that we've managed to reduce our churn. So people who are coming to us are seeing the value a little bit earlier, and people who have signed up to Adbot are seeing the value earlier, and they're staying with us longer. So the impact of having this data model for our business is quite significant. And yeah, I think the second part of the question, which is, how would you describe your overall experience with Zindi? I think what was really significant about working with Zindi and the Zindi team is that Adbot, finding solutions for our development, felt that this type of service was completely out of our reach. And working with Zindi, we found that it was totally accessible to businesses like ourselves, and not just on a one-off basis, but on an ongoing basis. I think the quality that we received back, the accuracy of the models, has had a supreme impact on the retention numbers for Adbot, which is exactly what we were looking for. So for startups out there who think that modeling and this specific service is out of their reach, should definitely consult with Zindi, because they really make it accessible. And it doesn't matter what your level of understanding is of data modeling or data development, or even implementation of the models. They have a great support system that will guide you through it, regardless of your knowledge base, and they will give you the answers that you need. Adbot has experienced that Zindi is making data services accessible to any business, any size of business, any means of business. So my advice to startups and startup owners out there, especially the ones that are not technically inclined, we all have to include AI. We all have to look at models. and start looking at how we build agents to make everything more efficient. Our customers are going to start demanding that very soon. And instead of spending all our fund money, which is probably where we're going to get most of the funds from, on employing one data scientist, we found that it was much more effective actually using a network of data scientists to give us the best results. So my advice would be, yeah, don't bet your money on one guy, but use the network in order to make your solutions, which involve data and implementation, more accessible.